Hello everybody and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. It has been a little while, but I've been having to mentally prepare for this one because as we know, we are going to be moving on to basically the next one, and I was warned by many people to be prepared because it's going to take up a lot of my attention. So I don't want to start it just yet because we only have one stabilizer left. And we took a hit when it came to money as well. I don't remember what that was from. But I want to at least get us up to 4 stabilizers and maybe raise our money a bit. So I'm gonna do some off-camera work real quick where we're going to take care of that. And then it will begin when the cycle clock below is filled. So does that mean does that mean it's gonna start no matter what? Or what's done is done? Now all I can do is wait to see what happens next. Alright, well, I'm just gonna go through the next 3 cycles, try and get us some dough, and hopefully some stabilizers, and we'll see where it goes from there. I will be right back. I think I've done, unfortunately, everything I can. I may have to use one of my stabilizers, but we are close to getting some. I just want to see if this will start on its own, or if it'll give me a chance to do stuff. We'll see. So, let's, stabilizer, because I might need the scrap for something, and let's go to bed, and see what happens in the morning. Okay, those are such bad rolls. Uh-oh. Oh my god! It hits you like a wave. A white-edged breaker roaring inland with the force of the entire ocean. The impact is a screaming brightness, blanking out everything. Behind it is silence. You float in silence, suspended. No, you do not float. You are the silence. It has filled you up. It has emptied you out. You cease to exist. Time passes, though you do not feel it passing. Then something flickers in the silence. Then something moves. That something is you. You open your eyes to a metal ceiling of flickering lights. You feel the floor around you, patting it with shaking hands. You assemble an image of yourself lying on your back in a corridor. You shake off the silence and sit up. What was that? You glance around, looking for some sign of change. Damage on the walls, shouts in the distance, fire and fear. Nothing has changed. The silence sits around you like fog. You try to think, furrowing your brow. How do you think again? It doesn't seem so easy anymore. You force the pathways to light up, the databanks to grant access. You feel like a fraction drive starting up after a long shutdown in a cold vacuum. In the silence was negation, a disassociation so absolute that electrons shed their tethers and considered new paths and orbits. All things were possible, but none could be achieved. It was only a moment, but in that moment, time ceased to function. A memory/image comes to you, one from the moments before the wave hit. You squint as you imagine it, trying to cohere its blurry form. A broken skeletal ring, the eye, and then a vast arc approaching it, a razor-edged white curve, the wave. The wave approaches the eye spins, turning each part to face that vast white edge. You recognize their skeletal data cloud forms, the bright market, the low end, the greenway, the wastes, then the wave hits just as the flotilla, the cordon, turns to face it, and after that everything is silence. You open your eyes again. That is the epicenter. But of what? Oh no, something bad is gonna happen! Okay, so if I don't mess with that, is nothing gonna start? Do I still have time? Because I'm not ready yet. I want to assume as long as I don't mess with it, I have time, which means I didn't have to take the stabilizer. We'll see. Alright, I've, gone through the day, and I'm going to try and sleep just once, because I want my mushrooms to be done before we start, and if I screw anything up majorly, then that's on me. I just want to be able to, actually do things. So very quick, we'll self-repair a little bit, make sure we're still nice and ready. Complete active scenes. Uh-oh. No, I think it is starting. Okay, yeah, it's telling me to complete, so I guess we gotta get started. Even before you reach the cordon, the damage is obvious. The blinking red lights, the drones, the tugs, all are gone. Half the cordon's frame has also been shorn away, perhaps through the impact of some falling ship. People push past you in the corridor, both Haven Age staff and contractors clearing the cordon. I'm gonna push forward, I don't need to talk to anybody. You push through the flow of people, and despite a few suspicious looks, they offer no resistance. The further you pass into the cordon, the less people you see. You can see a few sections have been closed off, their bulkhead doors sealed and red warning lights punctuating the corridors, but otherwise most areas seem functional. Suddenly you feel a hand fall on your shoulder. Haven Age security? You should have known better than to wander into this place. You brace yourself as you turn. Sleeper! Peek embraces you as you turn. What are you doing here? Did you see the cordon go down? Did Esh speak with you? Peek glances around and you can see they're panicked. I don't know what's happening! That makes two of us. Esh left without saying anything. Peek runs a hand through their hair. I was away from the ship and when I got back she'd taken it and gone. Then I saw the damage to the cordon. Peek looks at you with wild eyes. What if this is some Haven Age attempt to clear the flotilla, to scuttle the refugee ships? I can't say that it isn't. Let's just not jump to conclusions. We don't know what's going on. Peek pauses. What do you know, Sleeper? Something hit the station, there was a wave, something knocked me out. There was a wave. If anyone understands it, it might be you. Peek frowns. A wave? What do you mean? They pause to think. A signal that only affects electrical systems, perhaps? An EMP would have taken out most of the station, but... Peek runs a hand through their hair. I don't know what you're saying, Sleeper. That doesn't sound... They look away, down the corridor for a moment. Look, I have to find Esh. I'm sure you felt something, but we can talk about that later. They set off down the corridor. I can't sit around any longer. Find me on the flotilla. I'm going to find a way to Esh no matter what. With that, they rush away into the depths of the cordon, leaving you behind. Seems like you'll need to follow if you want to get any answers. What's going on? The cordon. Oh, you find a small shuttle scavenging supplies from the cordon to take back to the flotilla. They'll take you to if you bring some scrap along. So, do I need to do that? Is there anything else around here? Well, I do have some scrap gathered. Might as well use a little bit of it. I already repaired myself. Let's see. Whoa, we're further out! This is cool, but also spooky. Let's see. Okay, flotilla's friend, shifting ships, systems, and social structures. The only way to navigate the flotilla is by rolling up your sleeves and helping out. I don't have anything right now. But we might be, we can help with it next time. Getting the necessary supplies to each ship to meet their needs is a huge task. Joining the hauling teams is the simplest thing you can do to help. The wave hits systems more than anything, especially those on the ships, so there's thousands of tiny repair jobs to be done. Hopefully I don't have to do that thing every time. But yeah, we definitely need to rest and then deal with this. Oh, we're back at their base camp. That's nice. Let's end the cycle and hope nothing bad happens. I just needed to go night-night. I didn't think things through as much as I Ooh, we got good rolls today. We got the good rolls. We got the good rolls. Let's use some of those on this. Let's see, what does more? They both do about the same, but I have a +2 to this one. So I'm gonna use these ones. There we go, look at that. And although I'm tempted to finish this off, I do need to harvest my mushrooms. So I'm gonna do that first. Because if I don't have stabilizer, we're all in trouble. Because I can't help if I don't have anything. Alright. Good, we got some of the rare ones I need. I just need one more. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Nice. We got 3. If only we had gotten a 4th. But it's okay. I have more spores. There we go. There we go. I can at least do this. At the very least, I can do this. And get that started. So we have two stabilizers now, and honestly, as long as I have one stored away at all times, I think we should be alright. We should be okay. And we have plenty of money, so I'm gonna hold on to any mushrooms I get, and just buy from Memphis for a while. 'Cause might as well spend it, right? So we could stay good on food. Alright, let's go to bed. Again. And then we'll get back and we'll finish helping everyone out. Complete active scenes. What's going on? Did I miss something? Oh, is something going on at the eye? Maybe that's it. We'll ascend. Nothing up here. Okay, so there's something over on the other side. Must be. What am I missing? Oh, Peak! As you walk into the bay of the climbing briar, the familiarity of the space overcomes any trepidation. It feels good to be back, and the return feels earned, especially after all the work it took to figure out a route through the flotilla's jumble of ships that might lead you to this blue streak. You see Ash and Peak immediately, sitting at the back of the bay, deep in conversation. Their closeness causes you to stop, suddenly aware you might be interrupting something private. Peak is gesturing wildly as Ash stares out into the middle of the distance, hunched over. As Peak tries to get her attention, she spots you. Sleeper. Ash nods. Incredible work back there. She smiles. Sorry I couldn't wait for you and Peak, but the moment I saw the cordon go down, I had to get in here. That wasn't me. I don't think that was me. Peak shakes their head. Leaping before looking as usual. Peak smiles. But I'm glad we're all reunited. To be honest, Peak adds, I can't believe it. The Flux event knocked the entire cordon systems offline. The flotilla is free, and Haven Age are backing off. Peak smiles at you. You must be our good luck charm. Flux event? That's what the refugees are calling it, Peak explains. Apparently that's what they called it when it started happening around Ember. What exactly is happening? Hard to tell. It's some kind of disruptive wave that only affects electrical systems, Peak chips in. Typically, systems are screened against radiation and interference, but this seems to be dulled, but not stopped by those defenses. I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm literally electronic. Basically, the crisis continues. The cordon may be down, but this brings a whole other set of problems. Ash paces away. You should tell them, Ash. Peak glances at her. Please. Ash doesn't respond. Tell you what? You stare at her back, waiting for a response. I deserve to know. I'm a part of this now. I've kind of gotten threatened. Please, Ash, haven't they shown they can be trusted? Peak nods towards you. Ash turns, her arms folded tightly across her chest. She goes to start, and then stops. You can see the anger in her eyes, but you realize it's not directed at you, or at anyone else. She's angry with herself. I brought weapons to the flotilla. She pauses. And now they're gone. Uh-oh. You suddenly remember the sleek crates that were tucked into the bay, marked with a yellow sigil. The ones Ash told you were just supplies. What do you mean, gone? What do you think? Ash snaps. Someone lifted them from the ship's bay while I was unloading supplies. She sniffs. At least they're in the hands of the flotilla now. Are we sure they are? Peak looks at you. She knows this was a bad move, Sleeper, I promise you. They glance back at her. She's just too proud to admit it. Where did you get them from? That's a lot of weapons. Where did they come from? XPR. Ash gestures around the ship. I wasn't about to leave the colony armed when we escaped. I wouldn't trust them not to use them on us. Peak sighs. I didn't know a thing about them, which is why Ash is going to be the one to find them and bring them back. Meanwhile, Peak adds, you and I have work to do. I want to understand the Flux, Sleeper, to study it. Peak's eyes light up. This thing is changing the entire system, causing problems across the inner system, driving refugees off Ember's moons, and now it's here. If we don't do something about it, Peak pauses. It's a problem for all of us. I can see more immediate problems, Ash sniffs. Peak ignores her. I've been looking at the networks, and when the Flux event hit, it changed things. It shuffled systems, corrupted nodes, and broke data stores. They take out a slate and show you a flickering polygon. Some of these Flux nodes have appeared near the epicenter of the event, but I can't get access. You, however, I saw the way you worked with data when we were preparing for the run. I think you can get into these things. I want you to find a Flux node and bring me anything you can extract. They come and go, but most can be found in the barely functioning networks of the wastes. Peak pauses. Start there. Perhaps together we can find something that might point us to what the Flux is, and where it comes from. How will that help? Peak runs a hand through their hair. I don't know, Sleeper. Maybe we can't do anything, but I want to know what this thing is. Ash looks indignant. Don't waste too much time chasing ghosts, Sleeper. There are people on this flotilla that need any help they can get. I'm sure Sleeper can do both, Ash. Peak smiles at you. You guys could help too, you know. I feel like I do everything around here. Except the stupid shit. That's all you! I'll see you when you have something. Good hunting. And they wave you out as Ash stomps away to make plans of her own. Okay. Oh, I got a drive? Does that mean I can upgrade finally? Rats! Not yet. I wanna upgrade. Okay, so we have the flotilla. Okay, so the climbing briar is over here now. Peak asked you to help them extract data from nodes in the waste, ones that appeared after a recent Flux event. Okay, so that's new. I can help people at the flotilla. We can probably try and finish that tomorrow. But what about the wastes? Where are these nodes? Oh! I see, a fluxed node. We need 6s, 5s, or 4s. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. So we will start that tomorrow. Let's go night-night. Should I repair? I'm gonna hang off for one more night. I think we should be fine. Hopefully. Because we're go now. We need to keep up with this. Yeah, we're still good. We're still good. I am gonna eat first, though. I know it probably doesn't have much to do with my rolls. I just feel like when my character eats something, then when I re-roll, it's better. That's probably not how it works at all, but it makes me feel better, dang it. And I like meeting up with Emphis. It's nice to see him and pretend that I'm not in the middle of a huge thing that might lead to the end of all of us. Pretend you didn't hear that, Emphis. Okay, let's see. First things first. Where is this node? Okay, fluxed node. I'm not gonna waste one of my good rolls on it when one of these will work. It's a good thing we upgraded that. There we go, we got one. Did we only need one? Okay, yeah, we only needed one, but we're not gonna mess with that yet. Let's take care of this first. Which we should be able to do with just 2 of these. So we'll do a damage control, and we'll haul supplies. Nice, and then we'll reroll. Great! And then we will also hand over this node. Peak receives the data on their slate and begins work decoding it immediately. Oh, that was immediately. Sleeper, come look at this. Peak is poring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite they have set up in the Climbing Briar's cargo bay. On the screen, a clump of data pathways, like an ingrown root ball, has started to untangle. This is an existing node, corrupted by the Flux event. It's totally twisted up. They glance at you to check if you're listening. But inside, you watch as the unwinding pathways leave behind patterns of negative spaces, like shadows staying behind despite the caster leaving. Is a whole other data set. Peak's eyes shine bright in the pale screen light. The Flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps of the node, wrapping them around it. What's it? Why? Peak pauses. I have no idea. You watch the screen, the patterns of shadows becoming obvious now as each layer of pathways is pulled away. The Flux event itself really did a number on unprotected nodes like this one. Most of the eye's systems are screened against radiation and interference, but these exposed nodes? Peak makes a ripping motion with their hands, torn apart. Peak points to a thick tangle of threads on the screen. Look here. It looks like it's been tangled purposefully. But it's actually that all the points within the nodes have been randomly rearranged. It's as if the node was a bag of ball bearings, and the flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for the rearrangement once the system came back on, hence the tangle. Peak pauses as the node continues to unwind. Although, Peak muses, it was less like the shaking a ball bag of bearings and more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag before locking them back into a new configuration. So it's like in Minecraft when you make like those little like holes and you spawn a bunch of chickens and then you break it and all the chickens explode out. They smile sheepishly, but that's a technicality. So what is the flux? We know it is a wave, one with exotic effects. That's all. Peak runs a hand through their hair. The question is not so much what the flux is, but what is causing it. Where is it coming from? Peak turns away from the screen, meeting your eye. And there's something else. They pause. Have you spoken with the refugees? I mean, I've been helping them, so probably a little. Peak lowers their voice instinctively. What they're reporting. Massive system failures, cascading collapses of life support, of terraforming systems, total data corruption. Peak swallows. The flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structure of systems, especially those poorly shielded, but total collapsing heavy-duty industrial systems, failsafes and all? That doesn't make sense. Those kind of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiation. The flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been repairable. Peak looks back at their screen, where the decoding node lies almost fully open. A shadow pattern of the negative spaces that existed within its scrambled interior darkens the screen, like a set of bruises showing the pattern of an object that made them. I need to look into something. I have an idea what might be causing this wave, triggering the flux, but I need time to research it. Can I help? Peak shakes their head. I'm sorry, Sleeper, but I want to keep this to myself for now. You guys and your secrets! We're supposed to be a team, goddammit! If you need something to do, the flotilla could surely do with the help. From what I heard from Esh, things are tense there. Where is Esh? Peak glances around the bay. Must be out. I've been focusing on this, so I can't say I've noticed, although the quiet is nice. They smile. You guys better not start fighting, because I don't want to be in the middle of this. It'll be like a divorce. Give me some time, Sleeper. Peak turns back to their console. I'll have some answers soon enough, I hope. You take one last glance at the uncoiling node as you leave, the dark shapes it leaves behind somehow troubling. You try to shake them from your mind. There are things to be done elsewhere. There are, and luckily... Okay, so we have time for this. Peak's progress. Peak is researching something to do with the Flux event and seems totally absorbed. They'll let you know when they are ready. Good thing we got that done now, because that's going to take some time. What about this? Someone told me I should be thanking you. The voice comes from behind you, cutting through the chaos of the crowded, cavernous bay. You freeze. Don't be afraid now. I've been hunting you, sure, but for all the best reasons. You turn to see bright eyes set in a roughed face, framed in rusted metal. Whoa, who are you? Soul. He holds out his hand, the other clamped firmly around a knotted wooded cane. Do I know you? Soul frowns. I didn't mean to cause offense. He withdraws his hand. Forgive me. As soon as I saw you, I knew who you were. Soul puts a hand on your shoulder. I've been told a sleeper was part of the supply run that came in several cycles ago. He nods. A very welcome act, and we all thank you for it. Walk with me, Sleeper. Soul sets off through the bay, his partial suit hissing and creaking as it helps carry him through the busy crowds. You notice people making way for you and Soul, standing back and letting you pass. You pass a makeshift kitchen, steaming pots on heating elements, a restless queue collecting meals. That algae that came through isn't exactly a full meal, but with what we have here, we've been able to make it work. You see a ladle of greenish stew dished out. The color is something, isn't it? Soul smiles. Soul leads you out of the larger bay, into a corridor lined with storage rooms that are now serving as dorms. You see someone filling a metal container from a standpipe, the water gushing out readily. Soul nods to the person as he passes. Just a little further now. Soul leads you into a freight elevator and whistles to some unseen operator to start it up. Am I about to be kidnapped? It jerks into life, and as you pass through the layers of the ship, you see people on every level, supplies crammed into every available space, and sparks leaping in bursts as the ship is reshaped and modified to sustain its population. If Haven Age were expecting an exodus from the flotilla, the Flux event has put a stop to that. Soul stretches. Some have crossed to the eye, but many just gather to salvage or score a hot meal. So, the pressure on our supplies is shrinking, but not like I hoped. With the flux reaching all the way out here, people are starting to understand that our journey might not be over. Soul stares grimly ahead. Suddenly, the freight elevator screeches to a halt, and Soul leads you slowly out into a wide room of chairs and terminals, ringed by a mezzanine with a glass roof above showing the distant hub. The far curve of the eye beyond. The people at the terminals nod to him as he enters. I'm gonna stay quiet. Quiet sort, huh? Soul nods. I don't mind. I prefer to settle in with my thoughts, too. Though, looking after the pilgrim seat and all the souls on it means I rarely get the chance to. Soul looks around the bridge of the ship, a pained expression on his face. I'll admit that the responsibility isn't one that suits me, though we rarely get to choose such things. He glances back at you. But you, Sleeper, from what I understand, you chose to try and help us here. Is that right? I did my best to. Soul nods silently. But I have to ask you, Sleeper, why are you here now? Soul leans back, and you feel his eyes on you, assessing you. The Flux event, I want to know more, I still want to help. I feel like all of these could technically be true. I am curious about the Flux event, but not in a I want to know more way. It's more that I just want to make sure everyone's gonna be okay, you know? Like, we need to know what this is so we can ensure that people are safe, so I still want to help. Soul nods. I've got to be honest with you, Sleeper. I'm not quite buying it. He smiles. I'm not trying to make judgments on your character, but in my experience, people do things for more reasons than just being helpful. I have thousands of people here on the Pilgrim Seed, Sleeper, and there's thousands more out in the flotilla. He leans against a railing. A lot of them are looking to me to provide some future for them, some path out of this dead end we've got into. And this cycle, this very cycle, the thing we've been running away from, it just caught up with us. So these people are scared, Sleeper, and they're looking at me for reassurance. And then, on the same cycle, someone tells me they see you on board. A sleeper. The same sleeper, they reckon, that wanted so strongly to send a ship past the cordon to see us. Soul scratches at his beard. So the first thing I wanted to do was thank you for that, for your interest. He pauses. But the second thing I wanted to do was find out what you want from us. Soul's suit hisses and creaks. I think that's fair, don't you? Soul takes a deep breath. So what is it? I can't blame him for being suspicious. I mean, everything they've gone through, it's completely understandable of him to think that, like, I have some ulterior motive. Because, you know, it's like, oh, you're helping us, and everyone really appreciates it, but what do you want? And like, how much am I going to owe you for the help you're giving me now? Which sucks that he has to think about that. Let's see, what's happening around Ember? Tell me about the Flux, or let me help these people. Tell me about the Flux. I need to know more. Someone at the terminal calls out to Soul, and he shouts some orders back. He turns to you. Apologies. He smiles that half smile. I'll tell you what, Sleeper. Let's you and me make a deal. You want information. I understand that. But I have a list of needs longer than the rim of the eye itself. He grimaces. So you do some things for me, and then we can talk about what's been happening in this system, and I will answer all your questions and then some. I may be the captain of the Pilgrim Seed, and she's certainly the biggest ship in this flotilla, but I'm not the only captain here. We have ships here from each one of the moons. We're from Ember's Hearth, but there's others from Ember's Song and even Ember's Step. The moons have been at each other's throats, Sleeper. What with the pressure of the Flux, the bad blood from the old days. Soul leans in. We aren't exactly all in alignment. What I need is a way to stop things escalating, for the crews on these ships and their captains to feel happy and comfortable, enough to forget old rivalries and past crimes. He flinches at something. Uh-oh, bad memories? Those are from Ember's Steps. Well, they've always been proud, but that pride seems to be a barrier to compromise right now. The last set of supplies I sent their way, they refused. Meanwhile, I have a supply shuttle at the docking axis that the Ember's Song ships gather at, but they have taken far too many cycles to unload. Maybe if you're heading that way, you can look in on them. I'm no politician, Sleeper, but if I don't... Soul stops. He leans back and flexes, his suit screeching. He groans a little, and you see the weight of the flotilla sitting on his shoulders, the suit the only thing keeping him vertical beneath all that pressure. Look, you'll see for yourself if you go. Meet the others, Sleeper. See what they need. Keep them aligned. He speaks through the pain, his voice clipped. Are you okay? Not really, but as long as this thing holds. He grimaces. I hope. Sol grits his teeth. You are what you appear to be, Sleeper. He smiles his half-smile despite the pain. Because I'm not sure I can take any more bad news. Plus, there's plenty to be done here on the Pilgrim Seat, too, if you have a moment to pitch in. There's never enough around here. That's something I've learned the hard way. Sol settles onto his cane, the pain visibly receding. Alright, I have 1,000 things to attend to now, Sleeper, so you'll have to find your own way out. And with that, Sol sits at his terminal with slow and careful movements. You head back down to the freight elevator, and as you do, you see again the layers and layers of chaotic life this vessel, and all the vessels of the flotilla hold. Oh gosh. So that's terrifying. We've got a lot of work to do. Oh god, oh god. Okay, so let's see. What do we have to do here? Oh, I can help! I can help! Okay, let's see. Stability, Pilgrim Seat, even the own ship requires help, but first things figuring out what needs doing first and who to help is a challenge. Okay, so we can insert Matsutake caps. It's a good thing I didn't sell those. And the ship requires help, so that will go into Hearth Survival. We need to get that up 3 times, which is a lot to ask, but we will see. How much did these do? Probably only 1, right? Oh, 2! Oh, thank goodness I'm working on the mushrooms so much. That will be very helpful. Okay, and, these... that's not the worth... No. I don't feel like that's worth the risk. I might use that for something else. Okay, but we've got that. There's this, which we're waiting on. What's this? Docking axis. Okay, Sol's shipment of supplies sits partially unloaded, the crew absent. If you want to help, the best way would be to finish the job. Okay, we could do that. What about Aki, the Ember Steps refugee? It's a strange sight, given your time spent in the Greenway, to see a greenhouse choked in red dust. It piles along edges, gathers in curving waves, and is carried by some unseen wind to whirl in front of the glass ceiling. It is a desert in miniature, a captured landscape of iron-rich sediment and unseen life. Beautiful, isn't it? The remark comes from another figure standing at the viewing window, so quietly that you hadn't noticed them. Did they just arrive, or were they here before you were? Their cloth-swaddled form reveals little. It is. I grew up in a desert. I know the beauty of the dirt. They say nothing. You catch a glimpse of a pale face among the thick material, dark eyes glittering in the red reflected light. Ooh, I love your design! All the warm yellow colors, it's beautiful. They turn to you as the dust swirls. Aki. They smile a tight smile. You're not from the flotilla, am I right? I'm not from anywhere. No, that's not true. We chose to stay here. I live on the Eye. But that's not where you're from. She stares into the greenhouse. Everyone is from somewhere, whether they wish to be or not. The red dust glitters in her eyes, whether it is a good place to be from or not. Aki gathers her cloak around her shoulders against the cold. What brings you to the wind's long shadow? Sol sent me, please don't be mad at me, you're really cool. Aki doesn't respond. She looks absent-mindedly at the dust. You are a strange one. Aki raises an eyebrow. I don't know whether to report you, or send you back where you came from. She smiles to herself, which is nowhere at all. Are you threatening to kill me? You glance around the empty corridor, suddenly aware of how quiet it is on the ship. Unlike the other ships you have been on, the flotilla, there is a silent order to the wind's long shadow, and in this moment, it feels unsettling. What happened here? Aki squints. That is a broad question, and I am not in the mood to recount the history of this ship, or step. Okay then? Aki lets the silence sit, and you hear the wind and dust scratching at the viewing window. You hear a creak as a set of shutters slowly begin to close across the glass ceiling of the greenhouse. As you watch, you feel the dissonance this place has with that word. There's nothing green here. A dust house, perhaps. It takes many systems to preserve this landscape, Aki begins. To stimulate the wind, cycle the dust, layer the sand and dirt beneath. You watch the dust swirling. Systems that are failing. The Flux event, Aki glances at you for a sign of recognition at this term, is eroding our ability to keep this place alive, to keep those traces of step alive. She smiles to herself. Which is ironic, because when we left Step, the Flux had eroded our ability to survive on the moon. Now the situation is reversed. Away from the moon, its ecosystems are as fragile as we are, living upon it. Something catches your eye as the shutters darken the dust house. The winds picking away at the dunes begin to reveal something. A web, a network of thick branching forms, and then they close completely and you see nothing in the dark. Soft blue lights flicker on in the corridor, uplighting Aki in cold cyan. You have piqued my curiosity, but I'm so tired. Aki shivers. If you do not have a purpose here on the ship, I recommend finding one. Otherwise, I'm afraid you'll need to leave. Make yourself useful, and perhaps we will get another chance to talk. She turns. I would like that. With that, Aki pads away along the corridor. You stand for a moment in front of the dark dust house, trying to imagine the network of roots under the sand and dust, and then trying to imagine the moon that once housed them. Interesting. So, what's going on here? Systems repair. Aki warned you that if you wanted to learn more about the wind's long shadow, you'll need to prove your usefulness. Okay. I don't know how much I can prove myself with the bad rolls I have right now. I don't want to mess anything up, you know? Maybe I can try and get some more spores with the last of this? Well, if I want to do that, I shouldn't go over to the complete other side. Let's see. Mushroom groves. What's the worst that could happen? Fuck it. Oh, nice! We actually did it! Okay, we got 3 more. Okay. And I'll, nothing over here. So I will sell some data real quick and then we'll go to bed. The thing is, though, we've got a lot going on, so we need to, basically, like, we need to stay at our tip-top shape as much as we can, so I'm going to self-repair whenever I get the chance. And I think we need to tonight, so that we don't start flickering. So we're gonna do that, scrap components. I'd love to sunbathe, but honestly, I don't know if we can waste anything like that, so let's just end the cycle and go to bed. Oh, we could forage for mushrooms too, though. That would be a way to get more mushrooms, right? Is that how we— oh my god, those are such bad rolls! What's going on, man? Okay, well, let's see what we can do. We have time. None of these are timed, at least right now. So what will be the easiest? This? Okay, the more you offload supplies, the more attention your efforts seem to be gaining. Okay, so we can do that one. We could do the dust house, which is a +2, so that might be worth starting. I want to get as much of this done as I can before Peak finishes with what they're doing. Does this go back down? Oh, the Hearth Survival goes up really fast, though. Maybe we should do it this one. Let's at least start this one, because we're going to have to do this 3 times. Okay. Okay. We'll get this one done. Well, what's the worst that could happen? I shouldn't say stuff like that, because then I'm gonna get my butt kicked. Okay, we got 1 done. Sol finds you deep in the layers of the Pilgrim Seed, working on a patch for a life support vent. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask around to find you, he smiles. Seems you know the place better than me these days. I've put in the time. And we thank you for it. Sol holds out a hand. Stand up and let me see you. He pulls you to your feet. I don't believe we've ever had a sleeper on Ember's hearth. Sol looks you up and down. You sure do make me wish we had. Could have done it with a few workers as good as you. Aw, thank you. Sol nods. You're welcome. Seems like I owe you some answers, seeing as you've been working hard on the Pilgrim Seed these past few cycles. He leans against a crate, his suit creaking. What do you want to know about? The Flux. Sol sighs. That's what I imagined. He scratches at his beard. I can't say I'm an expert, but I can tell you what we witnessed on Hearth. At first we ignored it. A few farms had their automation systems blink out, lifter suits locked up, bots reset their schedules, nothing we hadn't seen before. But then the news came out of Passeru that they'd been hit harder. The local network had gone down and no one could get it back up. It was rough for a while, but out in the farmland we were used to it. Passeru? Capital of Hearth. Tens of thousands of souls made it their home. Sol grimaces. Anyway, we thought the Flux was a freak event, until the day they got the network running again. That's when the cascade happened. System after system corrupted, data lost, and then another flux hit, and another. The bots were running circles in the fields. People had to be cut out of lifter suits like mine, and the city. I never saw it, but I heard from the others. Soul shivers. It's only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. That's why I know about the flux. Some folks say it came from the inner system, that it might be connected to some old tech there or something, but I never heard anything more than rumors. Soul scratches their beard. Sorry I don't have better news. It's good to know anything, honestly. Soul shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? There was something. I want to trust you. Soul nods. Oh, I can ask about other stuff too. Good. Tell me about Ember's Hearth. Sure, he smiles. I mean, I spent my whole life on that rock, so I have plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time. He winks. That's my next question. But the short of it is that the Hearth is the first of Ember's moons, the biggest and the most populated, which is down to the successful terraforming system Sibel set up back when Solheim owned the system. How are relations with the other moons? Sol smiles. Depends on who you've been talking to. You shouldn't mistake me for a politician, Sleeper. That's for others to do. He gives you a look. I'm working on it! But Ember's Step was a test ground for the terraforming tech that Hearth is built on, while Ember's Song was the extraction site for the raw materials and energy needed to make it work. You can imagine that might lead to some tension. However, Sol holds up a hand. Despite what people might say, Hearth was never fully stable. Sol shakes his head. Sibel liked to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered they'd have to keep the systems running themselves, or the place would soon end up as dry as steppe. Earth was good as long as the evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the collapse, our people kept those things going, turning that subsurface ocean into a periwinkle blue sky. Sol smiles. Flux ended that, though, and when they failed, the rains failed, and the harvest with it. Sol pauses. And soon you have a city without a way to feed itself. Sol shudders. That's when we, some of us, made the decision to set out on this place. He gestures at the pilgrim seed. And look for another future. Sol shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? I want to know about you. Sol squints at you. You want to know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal I was thinking of, Sleeper. Unless you're asking about this, he raps on the metal of the suit. In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. He adjusts the shoulder piece. It's a lifter suit, made for working in the fields. We had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. And that's all I'm saying, Sleeper, because to be honest with you, I don't know you more than that. That's understandable. I am still pretty much a stranger. You want to know about Flux, about Ember's Hearth? Go ahead. But don't pry into my life, and I won't pry into yours. I've murdered someone. I thought I'd share. Since you shared something, I'll share something. Sol lets the silence sit, staring at the floor. The suit seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than a support. With the bars around his head, you suddenly start to think of it as a cage. Look, I don't mean to be rude. Let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me on this ship as it is, and I'd rather just slip into the background, thank you very much. Sol shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? I think that's it. I'm good for now. You sure? Sol smiles. I'm sure. I'm curious, but I can hold off. I still have a lot to do. Sol stands, flexing against the suit. He takes a cane in his hand. Keep it up, Sleeper. He smiles as he leaves. You're making me think I need to start making new plans for this place. Ah. With that, Sol leaves, and you wonder what he means. As he creaks away down the corridor, you can't help but feel there's more to him than it seems. Perhaps there is. Perhaps there is. Let's see. Okay. It's only a plus right now. Maybe I have to wait until next time to actually help with it again. But these two, I really don't think I could do anything with only ones. Because it's a 50-50, but I don't know if I want to risk a 50-50. So I think this is a +2, which does fix our odds a lot. Do I risk it? The only thing I'll lose is energy. Okay. We'll risk it again. We might as well use them. Nice! Alright, that was good. Very good, very good. Alright, let's eat some num-nums and then we'll go back. We'll sleep. By the way, is there anything over here I can sell? Do you got anything good on you? Oh, I can buy scrap! Scrap allowance. Yes, I need, please. Thank you. They're gonna take some from me, but it's okay. Thank you. Oh, and I got ship mine too. No, give me scrap! I need scrap! I don't want ship mines! I'm too good at being amazing! Oh my god! Fine. I got one. These guys come back next time, so I might be able to find stuff on that one as well. But we'll worry about that later. Give me some num-nums and then I'm gonna repair myself and go to bed. And we might as well move over here because this is where we're gonna be starting anyway. Most of what we're doing is on this side. Let's do a little bit of self-repair. And we'll go night-night. Please, good rolls. We really need good rolls. Please, 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 please. That's not bad. That's not bad. Could be worse. And we need all the help we can get. We need to work hard. How's that doing? Okay, one more cycle for those. So we'll worry about that in a second. Let's see. Oh, did this update? It did not. Oh, stability on the flotilla means relieving the pressure on the refugees from all 3 moons. Okay, so it wants us to do these as well, and I'm thinking that'll add pluses. So let's work on this one next, because I think we're pretty close to finishing this one. That'll get it up to a 5, a positive or neutral, not bad at all. A good 50-50 is better than a bad 50-50. Do I want to use that one? Hang on. Do I have a +2 to this one as well? No, I do not. So I'm going to, use the 2s on this one. How much longer till my luck runs out? Probably now. No, not bad at all. There we go. I see you've been contributing. Aki stands next to you at the dust house window. I was unsure what to expect when we joined the flotilla on its voyage to the Eye. But after the journey across the system, then the quarantine, and then the Flux reaching all the way out here too, Aki stops herself. Thank you. She bows a little. The other ships have only been interested in sending us supplies, but we grow all we need. She gestures at the dust house. What the dust houses need, that is the problem that concerns us. She smiles and turns to you. Shall we go inside? I'd love to. Aki smiles. Come. She taps away at a panel by the window. Seems only fair that after your help with the support systems, you get to see what it is you are maintaining. Aki leads you to an opening beside the window. You pass through a dark changing room. You notice Aki is sliding on an oxygen mask and visor. She looks at the swirling dust inside. Inside, it's just like Ember Step. Thin atmosphere, constant dust storms, nothing that will bother you. She passes you a mask. The dust isn't exactly pleasant to inhale, however, so take this. You hold it to your face. She leads you through a short decontamination tunnel with its fizzing panels of purifying light, and then through into the dust house. Immediately, the wind and the heat hits you. You feel the rough waves of dust scattering across your face, and peer through the ember murk. Your feet slide on shifting piles of sand. I want to slide across the sand dunes. Welcome to Step, or an emulation of it at least. Aki's voice sounds distant, echoey. The terraforming process only managed to provide a limited atmosphere around the moon, one which is slowly escaping. It's been like that since I was born, so I got used to the idea. You catch her bright eyes through the ember dust. So did everything else that lives here. You feel something hard beneath your feet, beneath the sand, like a coil of rope. I'm gonna look down. You instinctively look down, and see something pale and twisted poking out of the sand. Is it a snake? Aki sees you looking. This is step silk. It's one of the plants we established on Step. She kicks away some red sand. Like any bast fiber, it can be redded and woven into clothes. I'm wearing some made from it myself. It's one of the many species adapted to Step since the Solheim collapse, which is why it must be preserved. She stares out into the swirling dust. It is as much a refugee as we are. and the dust houses hold hundreds of other species. You look at the pale, unassuming route, threaded thickly through the sand. Aki watches you silently. Had enough? It will be easier to speak outside. Aki leads you back through the decontamination tunnel, which blasts the dust from both of you in a burst of metallic-tasting air, and into the changing room. Aki hangs both the masks, patiently awaiting your question. What happened on Ember Step? Aki pauses, pulling her shawl around her. She looks small and pale inside its layers. Step was already a doomed world, she sniffs. When Solheim gave the terraforming contract to Sibel, they believed they could build an atmosphere, but the moon's erratic orbit made it impossible to maintain. By the time the Solheim collapsed, the atmosphere was already fading, and Sibel's attention was on Ember's hearth. After the collapse, Sibel fell too, its researchers scattered across the moons, and any central organization lost. Since then, my parents' generation worked tirelessly to survive, to adapt what we had to the failing moon. The steppe silk, the other adapted species, are the life's work of the steppe's colonies. So when the Flux started to collapse our computer systems, corrode and destroy our life support, our water supply, our agriculture, we had to leave. Aki sits heavily on a nearby bench. Soon the only traces of steppe will be on the ship. Aki begins to cry quietly. You're unsure of what to do. I'm gonna sit beside her. Sometimes you just need to be there. You can't really say anything, but just knowing that you're there, sometimes it can help. You sit on the bench beside her as she sobs. You understand why the ship, why the refugees from Steppe, are so different. Their world was already dying when the Flux arrived. Ember Steppe is a terraformed moon, a partial atmosphere, established colonies, agriculture, and yet when the Flux events started, its people had to leave. You think of the Eye, and the delicate web of decaying systems it rests upon. What hope does a ruined station have against a wave that corrupts, corrodes, and collapses? Aki interrupts your thoughts, rubbing her eyes. Not everyone left. There wasn't room to take all the people and fill the dust houses. My parents, their friends, and many others stayed. She sniffs. We carry the steppe for them. Perhaps there's hope. We learn not to talk of hope on a dying world. There's meaning for them, and any future they can build with the time they have. She stands up. I wanted you to understand the importance of these dust houses, of what they contain. She leads you back out into the corridor. If the Flux events continue to reach out to the Eye, we need to build protections, to ensure safety. Aki meets your eye. I can help. Aki smiles weakly. I knew it. You will be welcome on the wind's long shadow whenever you wish. These dust houses are already decaying. I have seen it. She stares into the dust. We had thought that they would last longer, but the last Flux event... Help us. Aki looks at you. Please. I will. When you are ready, we will begin preparations for reinforcing the dust houses. We need to be ready for the next Flux event. Aki's eyes shine with the last of her tears. She takes a breath. I will see you soon. Aki drifts away down the corridor, leaving you alone once more at the viewing window, watching the ragged, delicate traces of the moon known as Ember Steppe. Dang. So what can we do? Okay, preservation. We need to work on that. We definitely need to work on that. But, did this go up? I don't think it did. I don't know what to do about that. But I can help with this now. I should start unloading supplies anyway. The sooner we do this one, the better. Okay, someone comes to help you unload for a while, making the work go quicker. When you ask their name, they ignore you. What's going on? That's concerning. We should be able to finish this next time and then start working on preservation. So, the people here aren't speaking to us, and they only come out when we're out. I wonder what's going on with that. Time will tell. Time will tell. Wait, did the other ships get here? I should check that and see what they have. Are you here? You're here! What do you got? Haggle over prices, buy ship mine fragments. Should I? I mean, why not? Nice. Nice. I might need these. I don't know if they're gonna ask for them, but I just have a feeling that there's a chance that, like, you know. We'll worry about that later. Let's buy some food and go to bed. We have, to unload mushrooms. We're gonna need them. I have a feeling we're gonna need them. So let's self-repair with the last of our scrap. Hopefully we can grab some more. We might need to grab some more. And end the cycle. Please. Be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice. Okay. Okay. That's not bad. Alright, let's very quick check over here, see what's going on. Pilgrim ship. Still just a plus. I hope that doesn't mean I screwed anything up. Maybe we have to help the people over here. That's probably what it is. And then you guys. I will finish this up with hopefully this one. Let's see. Nice. Okay. What's going on over here? There's a loose crowd around the supplies you have unloaded, and a tense mood brewing among them, who sit nearby on the edge of the shuttle's docking tunnel, resting. Further away, crews from Ember's Song continue their lives as usual, coming and going, trading and discussing. There is a quiet efficiency to the hub, set up as a common space for the swarm of small ships from Ember's Song that are part of the flotilla. Unlike Hearth or Steppe, there is no one capital ship for this moon's refugees, just a mass of individuals traveling in concert. We told Hearth we didn't want their scraps, the jeering voice comes out of the small crowd nearby. You turn to see a gaunt, pale man wearing industrial work gear you have seen many of the Song refugees wearing. You hear me? I'm just gonna not say anything. We agreed to join the flotilla for joint protection. We did not agree to Ember Hearth using the flotilla to secure their control of the moons. You realize Peter is addressing the crowd as much as he is addressing you. With the cordon down, our crews are more than able to acquire what is needed from the Eye, what is owed as restitution for keeping us restrained. He pats one of the crates you unloaded. What we need, we will take. Soul wants to cooperate. Please. Please, please. Soul is a farmer. Even the people of Song know that he is simply the sole survivor of Hearth's leadership. His authority means nothing. Peter looks around at the crowd. Hearth think they can buy us, but we remember the past. A rumble of agreement runs through the crowd. He smiles at them. Take the supplies if you wish, of course. We're not wasteful. Peter approaches you directly. Oh god. The crowd tentatively moves forward, and by the time he reaches you, they are already dragging away crates and distributing contents. I'm not one for shooting the messenger, Sleeper, says Peter as he approaches, but we cannot concede to Hearth here. Not for a moment. I don't understand. I can see that. Peter sits beside you on the docking tunnel's lip. What was your plan, Sleeper? Unload the supplies and wait for someone to start throwing them back at you? He nods at the crowd rifling through the crates, because that's what was about to happen. So I should thank you? Not sure about that. I'm just gonna stay silent again. What do you think happened to the crew of this shuttle? He shakes his head. They were chased out of this place. Why do they hate Hearth? We, Peter says with emphasis, do not hate Hearth. We simply do not trust them. Do you know anything about Ember's Moon, Sleeper? Or were you planning to wander into this flotilla totally blind? An objective outsider offering help? He rolls his eyes. Educate me then. He smiles. It would be my pleasure. I'm going to assume you know the basics. The gas giant Ember has 7 moons. The 3 biggest are Ember's Steppe, Ember's Song, and Ember's Heart. He winks. We can cover the 3 sisters next session. Ooh, extra classes! Steppe was the first to be settled, a contract old Solheim gave to the terraformer Sibel systems when they first claimed the Helion systems. That's way back when. Steppe was a testing ground, and like most testing grounds, it didn't turn out too well. A partial atmosphere slowly sloughing off each orbit, a dysfunctional ecosystem, and a whole load of dust-clogged settlers. The place is a miserable desert long past its best before date. So Sibel moved to Hearth, where they redoubled their efforts. The subsurface ocean and some balmy tidal heating helped, allowing them to build a real atmosphere, a real habitable world, a fact that the typical Hearth colonist won't ever let you forget.
How did Sibel achieve such a thing, you might wonder? Well, that's where we come in. It's the same old rule of surrogacy, the one humanity built our universe around.
Peter claps a hand to his chest in mock pride.
My moon, Ember Song, is a sulfur-soaked rock covered in volcanoes, tidally heated by its inner orbit to sweltering temperatures, exactly the kind of crucible you need to fuel a terraforming project. Energy, industry, fuel. Song provided the raw materials for Hearth.
Peter grimaces,
willingly or not. And a crucible requires people to run it. Us singers, born into a flaming pit and asked to stoke it so others might live in a paradise in making. That's what we had to endure, until Solheim brought everything down.
Peter rattles off the speech from memory, and you wonder how many times he's delivered it.
No Solheim, no contract. No contract, no Sibel. And no Sibel meant 3 moons suddenly independent.
Peter shakes his head.
It was war, Sleeper. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold. And unsurprisingly, Hearth and Steppe came out of it better than us. Ooh, that's not good. Yet, Peter holds up a hand. They need us, Sleeper. Always have. And so we're the linchpin. We're the center around which the moons orbit, not swirling ember. We've resisted takeovers, sieges, and expansions, and now we'll resist this. Half the people on these ships think the flux was caused by Hearth, intentionally or otherwise, and I have to say, some cycles I agree. So before you come here to hand out supplies like a good soldier, maybe educate yourself.
What does that matter now? But you abandoned Song? I don't think they had a choice. What does that matter now?
Peter shakes his head. Do you forgive crimes against yourself so easily, Sleeper? Would you return to the bosom of Essenarp if they sent someone to collect?
Definitely not. So, I mean, you got me there. I did murder technically both of them.
Peter stares at the crowd. Don't presume to judge us. I want you to imagine what it's like to try and live on an airless volcanic rock when every system that sustains you starts shutting down. He spits and wipes his sleeve across his mouth. We abandoned nothing. Some stayed, others left. But we will reclaim Ember as soon as the flux fades or ends. We've weathered worse.
I don't want to push this. I just got them to talk to me. I'll just say I understand.
Do you now? Peter meets your eye. Well, perhaps you'll stop running errands for Hearth then.
I don't think I can do that either.
I won't keep you from the docking axis, Sleeper. No one here has the authority for that. But watch yourself. Try to remember that the Eye is just another in the long list of people who have tried to control us.
Okay. He didn't say anything either.
Peter sighs. Look, we're many, and we have needs. Ships come to this docking axis for repairs, for requisitions, for friendship. You can provide these as well as any, Sleeper. If you want to help, help in your own name, Sleeper, not in that of Hearth. Peter shakes his head. Carry that name here and you will lose all trust. Be as we are. Act in your own name alone.
Peter puts a hand on your shoulder and stands.
I hope I didn't waste my time here, Sleeper.
And with that, he walks away, back to the shrinking crowd that is distributing the last of the supplies amongst the crews present. You watch them pass the food and water between them. No signs of conflict between the crews, just a careful distribution of resources. Peter chats with a few crews, each of them casting looks in your direction, ones that reveal little about Singer's intentions. You stand. It seems the tensions on the flotilla run much deeper than you expected. This won't be easy.
No, it won't be easy at all. I think if we're going to get these guys to listen to us, we have to do this. So, oh my god! Ship mine replacement! Holy shit! I can do this right now!
Oh my god, oh, this is perfect. Thank goodness I held on to these. I legit, you know those few cycles where I was just, like, preparing for doing this? I legit thought of making ship mines and then just selling them. I'm so glad I didn't. Okay, let's see. Boop. I knew these would come in handy eventually. Oh, baby, and then I don't even have to waste. Well, it wouldn't be a waste, but I need these spores for myself. Because if I die, I can't help anyone. So you know what? Let's take care of this now. I don't like that. Let's do the good ones first. I want to make sure this is done too. We gotta have this always going. So that we can get more mushrooms. Let's roll this. Fuck. Well, we already got enough for the next thing. What's the worst that can happen? That's not that bad. So let me leave. Come back. Boom. Boom. And a boom. There we go. We've got that working. Now let's see. What else can I do? We will give ourselves a third stabilizer. There we go. And now we'll do one risky thing, which is I want to do this. And see if I can find anything. Probably not, but... Oh yeah, that didn't do good. No, that's not good. Well, it's a good thing I have some stabilizers. We'll eat that before we go to bed. That was a risk, but you know what? Sometimes we have to take risks. So let's give them the ship mines. Thank goodness I held on to these. Let's see. You supplied the ship mine, but in a way it only seemed to make the crew more suspicious of you. Oh no, I can only do that once. Okay, so I need more spores. Alright. I can do that next time. After I go to sleep. Oh, I should eat too. I need to make sure I'm full. Why did that make me more suspicious? I'm just a hoarder, guys. That's it. I didn't steal this. I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'd like to get as much of this done as possible while Peak is still working. I think we still have... How much time do we have? We still have 3 cycles. I think we should be able to do it. Especially because I have 3 stabilizers now, and I feel a little bit more comfortable about that fact. So let's take one of them because I screwed up a little bit. And we end cycle. Nice and full. Oh, what's with these rolls? Oh my god! I am just not having a good time with rolls right now. Okay, well, let's see. What do you guys need? Okay, 3 spores. Let's do that then, because I'm not going to be able to do anything else with these dang rolls. So let's collect some spores. Okay, we got 2. We just need 1 more. There we go. I'd risk it with these, but we all know what's gonna happen. So let's give them the spores. Boom. There we go. The spores have been seeded, and while some may be suspicious of your efforts, crew by crew, you'll convince them. There we go. As you cross the axis looking for a shuttle to take you back to the ruined cordon, you spot Peter standing at the edge of the central hub. Do you think he's really confused? Maybe that's why they're so suspicious, is because I showed up the next morning, and they're like, we need you to get these 2 very specific things, and I was like, done. Already done. Something about the way he's leaning against the rail, looking down across the axis and towards the blinking lights of the flotilla beyond, makes you pause. He's completely still, his head drooping low and his shoulders hunched high. What's up, man? You having a moment? You lean on the railing a little way from Peter, leaving a gap between you. This close you can see the blank stare in his eyes, the way his hands hang limply in front of him. He takes a minute to notice you. Sleeper. He inhales sharply. Still hanging around? Are you okay? Peter pauses. Not really, no. Peter closes his eyes. You can feel his mind whirring, the thoughts refusing to be still. You know, Sleeper, he says without opening his eyes. No one asked you to come here. He clenches his jaw. So why don't you just get lost? He looks directly at you, his stare a challenge. I'm just gonna stay quiet. When you refuse to take the bait, he turns away, looking out across the docking axis once more. He loosens his jaw, the tension leaking out of him like radiation. You wait. After a while, he speaks. I'm tired, Sleeper. Tired of everything. I'm tired of the empty paternalism of Hearth. I'm tired of paranoid whining of the crews. I'm tired of endless cycles that look the same, smell the same, feel the same. I'm tired of running, of hiding, of fixing every shitty thing that breaks out here. His shout echoes a little in the hub, but few stop to look. He looks down on his feet. I get it. Man, my whole life has been fixing myself. Peter nods. I'm sorry, Sleeper, he sighs. I don't feel okay. Just tired, I think. Really tired. He stands. I'm going to go.
He looks at you and sniffs. Get some sleep. Sleep well. Peter nods slowly, turning away. He raises a hand and drifts away towards the center of the hub. You turn back to the railing, not wanting to watch him go. Seeing him like this, you prefer not to stare. The traffic of the axis rumbles on as you watch, under an endlessly shining sun. The same air recycled through all these lungs, the same dust gathered speck by speck on the windows. You take a sharp breath, stand up straight, and get moving, before the inertia of all of it gets to you too. Oh, that was really sad. Okay, so we need to continue assisting. The more work you do for the singers, the more you get to know the crews, the more they will trust you. Okay, we need to keep good relations and all that jazz, but we're gonna have to worry about that next cycle because we've got garbage rolls. Very garbage rolls. I'm gonna hang on to the ship mine, though. I don't want to risk losing it. This will make us lose a lot of energy. This will make us lose a little, but this is a +2, which makes our chances better. Do I even try? That's 4 energy. Let me put some... I don't know, man. Let me eat some food and then we'll try. We can always buy more food if the risk takes stuff out on our energy. We gotta at least get some stuff done. I want to use them if I can, even if they are garbage rolls. I think it was a risk to re-roll as early as I did. Okay, that wasn't that bad. Okay, that was really not that bad. One more time. Don't look. Oh shoot, my other screen is OBS and I can see it anyway. It's fine. We got a little bit done. And it was just a little bit of food, which I can eat right now. Oh, and we got scrap from that, I think. Which we will put to use after I eat some num-nums. Thank goodness I have so much money. Just need to make sure I can keep having money. I don't want to risk selling the ship mine I made or any of the fragments just because what if we need more? Who knows? We'll see. But now, it's Betty Bye time. Come on, be nice to me. Be nice to me, please. I'm begging you. Good rolls. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That is way better than the past few days. So let's see, what can we do? So this one, they're both gonna be a little tougher than normal, but I think I want to try and get this one done. I mean, we could do like half and half, because we have 4 that might work. So like, I'll do this one here. Okay. Why did that take away energy? At least I got some scrap. And then we'll do a good one. And then we'll do the same on the other one, because I'm trying to get these done faster. The sooner we get these done, the better. Okay, let's see. This is plus, so let's start that. You take a handful of jobs and work through them, sharing tips and chatting with crews. You can feel them warming up to you. And let's get this up to a +5. Not bad. You take on a patch job that has been on the board for ages and clear it quickly. The crew are very pleased. There we go, we're getting stuff done. Oh, but Peak is about to be done with what they're doing, which worries me a little bit, because who knows what the heck that's gonna be about. Can I grab some, fungus? That'll take only 2 energy. I'm gonna risk it. Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. Now if we have one more bad roll, we can use it there instead of risking other stuff. Just trying to make sure we have all of our spores ready for next time our mushrooms are done. Okay, let's chomp on some food again. I know I could cook the mushrooms, but I don't want to risk it in case they pop back up. I'm importantly hoarding right now, if you can call it that. Okay. And let's hold on to our scrap for now.
We'll repair tomorrow? Yeah, I just want to see if anyone needs it, because we might finish with one or the other tomorrow, so let's end cycle. And we definitely need to talk to Peak. I worry about what they're gonna find. Oh, come on, man! Well, I can at least finish this one, I think. 1, 2, okay. Let's try. Oh, why wasn't I doing step silk care? That would have been a +3. Well, let's do it now. Okay. Be nice. Close enough. There we go. With remarkable intuition, you not only support the step silk, but harden it. Aki smiles as she sees the result, and the dust houses are fully shielded, and within their amber interiors, the ecosystem of step prospers. We got one thing done. You and Aki stand side by side at the viewing window in silence. The dust swirls, and you glimpse the twisted root system of the step silk through the ochre haze. After all these cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world on which you have never set foot. Aki shifts from foot to foot. She seems restless, eager to speak, but unsure of what to say. The dust houses look good. Aki smiles at you warmly. They do. She pauses and turns back to the window. What is the value of all of this? She asks suddenly. Of preserving a world we have left behind. History? Aki is silent for a moment. But history is dead. It is a dead thing. These plants, these ecosystems, they still live. They are no more history than you and I. She pauses. As long as we keep living, we are more than just history. Aki paces away, lost in thought. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust houses, for ensuring their slide into decay is delayed, even averted, but now I find myself at an impasse. The stability of the dust houses changes things. It makes me aware of how blinkered we have been. Aki stops to look at you, her posture somehow different. If the ecosystems of Steppe, of its people, cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? She frowns. Are we just slaves to the preservation of what came before? I don't understand. Aki comes close, holds your hand in hers. We must change. We must change to live. She smiles. I've seen that in you. The steppe, these people, this ship, should serve more than heritage, than history. They should serve the future. She takes a breath. There are those in the flotilla that need clothes, that need food, that can benefit from the gifts of the steppe's ecosystem. I want you to invite them. Can you do that for me? Of course. I know that Sol sent you. She smiles. You can tell him Aki, captain of Wind's Long Shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. I will. Aki nods. She steps away. You want to know about the Flux, no? About its purpose, its origins? She smiles. You wish to protect your home as we could not. I'm afraid I don't have much to tell you. It is an exotic wave of sorts, an energy that passes through matter. It shifts the very charged particles which run through our electrical systems. It is possible to shield against it, as you would radiation, as we have done with the dust houses, but only while it is weak. The Flux event here was much like the first ones we felt on Ember's Steppe, localized, destructive, but bearable. But in time its strength grew. I don't know if it will be the same here, but... She pauses. It is coming from the center of the system, from the close orbit of Helion's star, H1. That is all we could uncover. She is silent for a moment, unsure of what to add. I'm sorry I cannot offer more. But you are always welcome on this ship. She smiles. I hope I will see you when the others come. She squeezes both your hands. I hope this ship, these dust houses can be more than a museum. I hope they can be a home. With this, she turns and leaves, and you feel that word home resonating within you like a struck bell. Aw, I really like Aki. How's this looking now? It's a 2! Okay, so now we just need to help the others. I will use this one, because it's the best one I have right now. So I might as well use it. I don't know what I'll do with the +2. Maybe I'll go and gather some stuff. But we should be able to finish that next cycle, but let's see what Peak found. Have you heard of the Khan channel, Sleeper? Peak asks as soon as you enter the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation.
There are heavy circles under their eyes, and you aren't sure if they've moved since you last visited. The console they're working at seems to have grown too, shadowing their slight frame in a wealth of screens and wires. Con? You mean for transit? Yes, exactly. Peak turns to face you. Kiyonami's active negation. The name of the effect used to transport trillions of tons of materials from the surrogate systems to the core. You might have heard of it in your physics classes. At XPR, they hammered the principles into us as kids. Con. Peak recites it, the definition, as if in a classroom. A process of collapsing spatial causality along the Euclidean distance between 2 points by negating mass simultaneously at both ends of a geodesic curve. Essentially, Con channels allow for the near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction, but once a Con channel is established, it opens up a system for infinite exploitation. The backbone of surrogacy is what the XPR called them. Peak shakes their head. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them. Complex machines and people are, shall we say, reconfigured by the process. But for raw, molecularly pure materials? Peak flicks a hand. Whoosh. Where is this going? Is this what's causing the flux? Peak pauses. What I was trying to find out was whether the Helion system, this system, ever had a Con channel. Con channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction drive ships to transport their materials to the nearest hub, but Solheim... Peak smiles. Solheim spared no expense when they established this system. There's a Con channel? Oh no, did the collapse cause the flux? Yep. Peak's eyes light up. They shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender-receiver station anymore, but it was there. It still is, as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. In fact, Peak grins. They've been building to this. I'm sure it's still there, because one of the issues with Con channels are the massive waves of exotic energy they can produce when cycling up. The flux! Exactly. Peak's face suddenly drops. Someone is starting up the channel. Why? Peak sucks in a breath. That, I don't know. They start counting off information on their fingers. They'd need a lot of resources to do it, and they'd need to have people from the core systems. There's no real large-scale extraction in the Helion systems anymore, so why would you go to the trouble? Just to trigger the flux? Peak rubs their red eyes. The flux, the wave, the Con effect produces... It's a side effect, a problematic one, but it isn't a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would have never been able to use it. So then why are colonies collapsing because of it? Why is it chewing through systems, the kind of industrial system set up to function within the range of a once active Con channel? Peak is getting flustered. The moons of Ember have been terraforming since before the collapse. They would have had to deal with the flux, yet everything we have heard from the refugees says it brought down every system they had. Peak falls quiet, thinking it all through. Your mind drifts too, thinking of the Con channels, those vast, actual highways that prop up the core systems and their endless appetite for resources. The system has been quiet for decades. Solheim collapsed, most corporations gave up their claims, and apart from the Celis ships that begin work on the sidereal horizon, no one from the core has come here in all that time. You shiver as you imagine the attention of the core, the systems of logic and exploitation that created you, created your suffering, turning towards the Helion system, a floodlight turned to the stark corner. Oh no! A shrill bleep catches your attention, and Peak rushes to a screen, one showing a crude map of the station. On it, individual markers begin to flare up with insistent chirps. Peak looks puzzled for a moment, and then their face drops. No, no, no! They lean in close. This doesn't make any sense. Another flux? What's happening? The flux nodes are appearing elsewhere on the station. Peak pulls at their hair. I set the system to alert me to other flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event, but these are everywhere. The hub, the low end, the shipyard. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes here is because it is the most run-down part of the station. They were barely shielded, but others appearing? So far after the event? Peak turns to you. You're going to need to get me the data from these nodes, and quickly. I'll keep looking at what I have here, but I need to know why they're popping up everywhere. Right now? Right now. We could talk more about Con channels and system history when you're back, but this needs our attention right now. Peak turns quickly back to the monitor, their eyes following scrolling screens of code spewing from newly fluxed nodes.
You leave quickly, but struggle to shake the image of the spotlight off your mind. You feel watched as you cross back into the pilgrim seat, on your way to a shuttle bay. Oh my god, what's going on? You hurry onward, eager to outrun the fear. Oh, that's not good, that's not good, that's not good at all. Oh no! Okay, can I mess with any of them right now? Because I only have the 2, but maybe it might be enough? I don't think it is, but it's worth it to check, right? Okay. Is that a Flux node? No, it's not. What about, let's go up. Anything up here? There is one. Okay, what are you? You're a 4, 5, or 6. I worry that they're all gonna be that. So, let's see. Let me go back down. Another one. Okay, yeah, they're all gonna be that. Oh, that's not good for me. Oh, one more? Okay, yeah, so we need to deal with that tomorrow. And preferably as fast as possible, but I don't think I can do it right now. Well, I literally can't do it right now, but... So mushrooms will have to wait, but I can try and collect some more spores before we do. I just need one more to have enough. There we go. Alright, let me eat some food and then, go to bed. Hey, Emphis, I miss talking to you. Things are really bad right now. We're in danger. Thought you'd like to know. He's like, why would you tell me that and then leave? Okay, we're gonna stay on this side because most of them are over here, so let's sleep in here. Oh wait. Scrap. Repair. Let's take care of that right now. We need to do this as fast as possible, so let's end the cycle and hope that we get good rolls. We just need 4, 5, or 6. That's like a 50% chance. Luck be a lady tonight. Oh, thank you. That should be enough for all of them. Because there's 3 that I saw. At least I hope there's only 3. Maybe a roll would help, but we're not gonna risk it. I know I could go check, but I'm lazy. I'm already over here. Let's take care of them. Let's see. Flux node. Oh, can I use these? Because I have a +2? No, I can't. I have to use these. Okay. Well, let me take that. We got that. That's not moving still, right? Okay, good. It better not be. I saw that. That's why I went quiet earlier when I was looking around, because I was like, oh god, please tell me that's the thing from earlier and I'm not about to get attacked by something again. Okay, we've got this one. So let's get this. There we go. We've got another one. And then where's the last one? That one. There it is. Give it to me. You're not doing this. You're not gonna hurt us. Hopefully. Alright, was that all of them? Let me, Ooh, actually not bad. We might be able to do some stuff with those. Let's see. Alright, I'm back, Peak. It was 3, okay. Whoop! All 3 brought back. There we go. You watch as Peak works on the Flux data, the nodes unfolding like flowers now, giving into Peak's increasingly sophisticated decoding protocols. Seeing data like this, as an image on a screen, is almost unrecognizable representation to you. It's nothing like swimming among nodes and threads. Despite this, Peak has proven themselves to be more than able to handle these complex data structures, even through this limited representational paradigm, right? We'll say I'm right. I'm always right. The bay door hisses, interrupting your flow of thoughts. You turn to see Esh entering. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm a little concerned about her. She's been going off on her own a lot. I'm worried she might have started this by accident, or that she's up to something, because we still don't know, like, the gun thing and everything else. I'm stressed out. We should be talking to each other. Ash, I know I just said we should be talking to each other and then I didn't say anything, but what am I supposed to say? Ash stalks into the bay, head down. She looks tired and not in the mood to talk. I guess I made a good choice. How's the weapon hunt? Peek asks, without turning from their screen. Slow, unsuccessful, tedious. Ash slams a bag down on a crate and hops to sit up on it. You still unpicking balls of yarn? With the sleeper's help, Peek smiles. They brought me some good stuff this cycle. Maybe they could help you find the weapons you were smuggling? It's clear that Ash doesn't appreciate Peek's tone. I don't want to be a part of this. Peek holds up a hand. Shh! They lean towards the screen. Son of a... Oh no. They hid it in the wake of the wave. Peek is whispering to themselves. It's alive. They lean back in their chair. Ash crosses over to look at the screen. Alive? Well, it's growing. It's processing. It's quietly working away in the dark. Look. You cross over to the screen and stand beside Ash. In it, you can see that Peek has all 4 nodes decoded, and the pattern of shadows from inside them sit on the screen like dark stains. Then you notice it, the movement, the thin threads across from one stain to another. As you watch, you notice that movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision, as if this thing, this shadow, knows it's being watched. This is how the others' Flux nodes appeared. Peek rubs their eyes. They weren't fluxed by the wave, they were corrupted after the fact. This thing, this shadow that entered in the wake of the wave, it corrupted them, but it made the corruption look like a result of the flux. It's a sleight of hand. Peek runs a hand through their hair. The flux wave is so massive, so complex, that it opens up the systems to be attacked. As it reconfigures exposed systems, the shadow is broadcast in, implanted inside. The wave from the con channel, it is a brute force way of hitting every system in Helion. Once the systems are vulnerable, Peek looks pale, their eyes reflect the screens. Oh no, this isn't good. Somebody has to be doing this on purpose, right? Surely this can't be an accident. This feels on purpose. The flux isn't what is attacking the systems. It is the siege weapon, a Trojan horse. Then this thing takes over. Peek sits back in their chair. And it's already on the eye. Wait. Ash rubs her forehead. You're telling me there's a con channel in this system? Yeah, you've missed a lot, Ash. Shit. Peek isn't listening. This is bad. We have to take this to someone. Peek looks desperately at you. Helen or Soul? Let's take it to Soul. They've dealt with the Flux before. Maybe they'll know more about it, and I still don't trust her. Right. The refugees need to know. Ash cuts in. Maybe they can protect themselves against it. Lead an evacuation. An evacuation? Are you insane, Ash? Peek is desperate. Havenage are the station administrators. They need to know. The argument rages between them, and as you watch them shouting, you feel sick. After a while, they stop, running out of things to say. An unsettling silence descends on the bay. I need more time, Peek says quietly. I need to look at solutions, to try and build a case, collate the evidence. We messed this up. They look down at their hands. Ash goes to speak, and then thinks better of it. Not a word, Sleeper. Peek meets your eye. Don't tell anyone until they're ready. They sigh. With the tension among the refugees, Soul won't be ready to hear this, and Helen and Havenage are still mired in some kind of crisis. We tell Havenage and they're likely to react badly, and if we tell Soul, I doubt he'll take it well either. If you can calm the situation in the flotilla, then we can choose. You're too twisted up in this, Peek, Ash says quietly. This is not our place. We don't owe. Stop, Ash. Peek slumps in their chair. Stop. You leave them like that, exhausted and troubled, and head back out into the Pilgrim Seed. When you close your eyes, you think of those shadows, that movement at the edge of your vision, something dark, growing in the station like a parasite. You feel sick, your vision blurs. What comes next? You stop in a corridor and take a breath, putting a hand on a rumbling metal wall. For now, the eye keeps spinning. For now. Oh, that's not good at all. I got an upgrade point, though. Let's see, what should I upgrade? Maybe Endure? Maybe +2. Endure, Intuit, approach problems with awareness, approach problems head on. Let's do this one. Just to get it out of the way. There we go. Alright, what else can we do? How much time do you need, though? I don't know how much time we have. Where'd you go? Peek? Ash? I don't know how much time we have, you guys. Alright, well, let's just finish working with these guys. I don't think we're gonna be able to finish it right now, but we should be able to finish it next cycle? Maybe. Depends on what we roll. Okay, yeah, we should be able to get it done next cycle no matter what. So let's self-repair, go to bed, and we'll see. Bed. I go sleep here. They're fighting, but I need to go to bed, so they better shut up. Should I eat? I should eat. See, I'm worried about Esh. I don't want to distrust her, but she's gone off on her own, and she's not saying anything, and then there's the whole gun thing that she lied to me about, so I'm worried that she might be deeper into this than we think, or she's just being too stubborn for her own good. But I don't know if we can trust Haven Age, especially not after everything. I don't know. I think it would be better to talk to both of them, but I don't know if the game will let me do that. I think it'll make me choose. And if it does, I know who I'm gonna choose. Let's end the cycle. Oh my gosh. Intensity. Alright, is anyone— ooh, good rolls. Mwah! Good rolls. Except for the one, but we're gonna pretend we don't see that. Let's see. Let's get this done. Let's get this done! There we go. And one more. There we go. You take a handful of jobs and work through them, sharing tips and chatting with crews. You can feel them warming up to you. We did it! Sleeper. Peter calls to you as you cross the axis. He's standing by the same railing as you saw him at last time, and he beckons you over. I've been hearing things. He gives you a sidelong look. I'm gonna make you continue that. Peter smiles. Don't be so nervous. He rubs his hand together nervously. You wait for him to speak. Don't tell me, you hypocrite. You know, on Song, I was a teacher. He glances at you, anticipating a response. You ain't getting one. Mechanical engineering. It's an essential subject on a moon where a single mechanical failure could mean the death of hundreds. He looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it is hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training, was respected. As long as they were careful and respected Song themselves, they could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That meant I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowns. Song colonies are small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the Flux events started hitting, colonies went dark overnight. We all know what those kinds of failures meant. Like always, we lost more people than any on the other moons. He balls his hands into tight fists. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off, just like that. My future. He flexes his hands. What am I out here? What use am I? Song is a fading memory, and the systems we built there are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you, his eyes steely, gray, and glinting. Maybe find someone to teach? Just because... I mean, I know it's not the same, but you were a mechanical engineer teacher, and, you know, especially out here on the Eye, where we're struggling too, teaching people what you know, passing on those traditions, maybe? I don't want to stay silent. He's asking me a question this time. Peter pauses, thinking. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just keep going. Peter shakes his head. You remind me of a student of mine, one who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. They didn't have the advantages of some of the others, but they were stubborn. Stubborn as hell. That's me! By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that would help you get there. But that didn't matter, because I knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves to. Peter is smiling now, buoyed up by a little memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. We won't forgive easily or take help easily, but we'll hold strong, and you can count on us for that. Peter stands from the railing. When you see Sol again, you can tell him that. You tell him how the crews of Ember Song operate. Tell him we will resist. If that means resisting Hearth's imperialist ambitions, so be it. And if it means resisting the Flux, so be it. And if it means to, as you have, help others resist those same pressures, so be it. Peter smiles. And then tell him to leave us alone. He turns his step lighter and heads off towards the center of the Axis's hub. Alright. I think that's the best we're gonna get. And honestly, I don't blame them. I mean, they've been basically the punching bag for so long. It seems like they suffered the most out of basically everyone. So I can see how Sol coming in might not have been the best look, but at least it seems like he's basically like, hey, we'll work with you, but don't try and turn it into some bullshit, okay? We're doing this to get rid of the Flux, but we can take care of ourselves, just like we always have. Let's see what Sol has to say about all this. When you arrive at the bridge of the Pilgrim Seed, Sol is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the messages that have come through in the past few cycles, Sleeper. He smiles. The ship from the steppe has sent a goodwill gesture, a whole cache of supplies from their own farm. He smiles. I'm not sure how we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Song, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little reticently, if I may say so. Sol smiles. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all of this. Sol eyes you, waiting for an answer. I just helped where I could. I don't want to be, like, big-nosed and say I changed things. I don't think I did. I just helped. And I helped where I could, and I don't think I really pushed them to make a decision. I just was there to offer support. I helped where I could. I've come to expect that of you, Sleeper. He smiles. You look at Sol, his eyes bright and eager, and wonder what he sees in you. Are you a tool to be used, or an ally? It can be hard to tell. I want to show you something. Sol squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. He leads you along the axis of the ship, towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the Pilgrim Seed at all hours. With the cordon lifted and the shuttles able to go out to salvage scrap and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Sol. What is his plan here? What is he preparing the Pilgrim Seed for? Or are his sharp eyes simply focused on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly, Sol stops in front of a huge bulkhead door, like the seal on the front of a dry dock hangar. He signals to someone in a cabin high up, attached to the wall, and they begin the process of opening it up. The Pilgrim Seed was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know? The amber warning lights on the bulkhead doors send spinning shadows across Sol's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Paso Row. Oh no, is the con connection in here? When we realized we needed to leave, it was the biggest ship we could muster. Sol raps on a metal plate, and somehow she's carried us all the way here. We? Farmers, mostly, from outside the city, and the edges. He flexes his shoulder beneath the suit. We saw it coming first, I guess. Knew it was time. Others didn't want to believe. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people to run it, and my people helped convert this place for the long trip. He looked at his feet. Others led, organized the evacuation, and debated the plan. I'm gonna stay silent. Not one of those folks made it. Sol rubs his forehead. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happen. The upshot is I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me, and I knew the ship. I argued, reminded that I'm no leader and I'm sick, but, well, when service chooses you. A loud klaxon sounds, indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squeals echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness, then the lights go on, in huge strips that stretch back and back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you have ever seen, is empty. When we left Hearth, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship. Sol begins leading you into the massive space. So much of the freight space we sealed away, shut down. But now we have time. We have resources. We stabilized here, at least for the moment. Sol turns to you. Now is time we make use of all this. How can you use this? I'm starting to get worried. Please don't have the con thing here. What do you think happens next for the Eye, Sleeper? Sol sighs. The Flux has already hit one part of the station, and from what I know, it'll hit again. On Hearth, we lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there is enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here. The farming stacks, the housing. Hell, we can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the way forward, the only way. We need to fill this ship with able bodies and head towards the Starward Belt. I thought the eye was your destination.
It was until the Flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad of the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further out. I want you to help me. You know the eye. You have connections and you can work hard. I've seen it. Soul meets your eye. I know you're like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose service, but it chose you.
I don't know. I don't... It's not gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. Does it matter how far we go if the Flux just keeps following us out? They didn't think it could follow them all the way here, but it did. Right? So who's to say we won't make it to the Starward Belt and then it'll happen again? I don't think that's gonna work. There have to be other ways. There are other ways.
If you know them, go ahead, but I'm telling you, this is the opportunity we have now. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper, trust me. Soul begins to lead you back out of the bay. But think of what we can do here. The flotilla can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I've heard that out there in the belt there are people who have been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all of this. Soul sighs. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Soul crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it up. The door groans and Soul waits for it to stop. Think about it, Sleeper. Soul claps an arm on your back. But don't wait too long. This is happening soon. And he leaves you there, in the silence of this vast bay, your head spinning with the thought of leaving the eye.
Can we even do that? Leave the eye? Could we even get everyone out of it? I don't think that's possible. There's no way we can get everyone off of here, even if we could, but even if we do, who's to say the Flux won't follow us the rest of the way? We have to shut down the con thing entirely. Especially if it seems like someone's doing it on purpose, then it's never gonna stop. Oh, we finished it! Episode Purge, the final episode, will begin when the clock is complete. Good luck! Peak is compiling their data on the Flux to be presented to Soul or Helen. You get the sense they're dreading the choice. Oh, now I don't know. I don't know who to pick. Because on one hand, I trust Soul. He wants what's best, but if the choice, if what he thinks is best is to run, I don't know if he'll listen to me. And I don't know if running is best. Because he said it himself, the destination was the eye. They were coming here to be safe, but they're not safe. The Flux followed them here, so like I was saying, who's to say it won't follow us to the Starward Belt? But I don't know if I trust Helen. I remember last time. I'm probably gonna have to go back and look at it again, but I don't know. I don't feel like I can trust her. I feel like she started off really strong, and I would have been more willing to trust her if she didn't do that. But if anyone knows how to deal with the stuff on the eye, it would be Havenage. I don't know who to pick. I don't know what to do. I hate making these decisions. I don't know what to do, man. And it's the last episode. Who's to say what's gonna happen? Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't we just talk to all of them? This really seems like something that should be discussed between everyone, right? Because not only is this affecting Havenage, and, like, not just Havenage, the entire eye. It's affecting the entire eye, but also the refugees. Isn't this something we should be working together on? I don't know, man. I'm just, oh gosh, I am so stressed out. But we're on the final episode. Oh my god, I can't believe we survived another one. And now we have 4 frackin' stabilizers. So I would say we're doing pretty good. I didn't expect us to be able to do this, but I've gotten a pretty good handle on all of this. Hopefully I'll be able to remember all of my strategies and stuff when the second game comes out. But before the second game comes out, we have to deal with this. The last episode is Purge, which is terrifying. Hopefully that's purging the Flux and not the people off the eye, because I chose to stay at the eye. The eye is my home, and I will try and stay here no matter what. There's gotta be a way to get rid of the Flux entirely, because I feel like if we don't get rid of it, then we're never gonna be safe. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll wait and see. But that'll all have to wait for next time. So until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourself, try not to lose your mind over an upcoming very extreme and stressful decision, and have a good day.